My name is Amber and I am a Homeworks by Precept consultant representing BJU Press homeschool curriculum. Today, I would like to give you an inside look at some of our vacation stations. This particular video is going to highlight vacation stations for students transitioning between 3rd and 4th, 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th, and then finally 6th through 7th grades. I do have another video highlighting vacation stations for students transitioning from kindergarten to 1st, 1st to 2nd, and 2nd to 3rd. This video, however, will address grades 3-4, 4-5, 5-6, and 6-7. Let's get started. These vacation stations are designed on a 10-week program, and they are to be used as formally or as informally as you would like. They are designed to keep concepts fresh in your student's mind and designed to only take maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day, if that, for the book part, and then there's also a part for them to do some reading. All right, the first example I'll show you here is week 3, and this is the beginning of the week, giving your student a glance of what they're going to be doing. There will be 2 pages, and they will circle the elephant for each page that they've done for that day. There is a spot for parent initials if you choose to use that. And then down here, they are to color a star for every 15 minutes that they've read that day. There is space to equal up to 1 hour. If you watched a previous video, you will see that the younger grades have 10 minutes of reading per day. All right, a few examples I'll show you here. This is week 5, day 2. It is just 2 pages right here. They're to read this short story and answer some comprehension questions. Here is a spot for them to practice greater than, less than, or equal to with fractions. And then a spot for them to do some journaling or some writing. And in this particular instance, it's saying, write about your most exciting adventure. The next example I would like to show you is week 6, day 4. Again, there is a writing or a reading and writing comprehension page. That's not every day. I just happened to pull up another example of that. Here is some subtraction practice, working on borrowing. And then here they are to complete the sentence with the correct word choice. Let's see if we can show you an example where there is not a reading comprehension. Okay, here on week 10, day 3, this is going to be the last week that the book is designed for use. And you'll see that they're up here, they're doing some basic math facts, doing some study skills where you would find different things, whether it be a concordance, a dictionary, or an encyclopedia. Then over here, they're working with contractions. And then finally, different units of measure. Now this book, at the end, has a certificate of completion that you can fill out and give to your student once they've completed the book. You will also see, when you get this book, that there is the answer key in the back. So depending on how you use this book, you may or may not want to give the book to your child. All right, moving on to 4th to 5th grade. This one is called Polar Explorer, so it's going to have a snow or winter theme. Here we're going to start on week 2. And again, it'll just give your student a place to circle for each page they've completed. Again, 15 minutes up to an hour for reading. And then as we go through, some examples, again, are some reading along with comprehension questions, doing some multiplication with 1 and 2 digits, and then doing some work on abbreviations. Further along in the book, you will see some examples of division with 1 and 2 digit numbers. And then here is a little section where they can write, And in this particular instance, they want them to write in complete sentences about who and what you might see and do if you were in a time machine. All right, and one final example in week 9, as they're almost wrapping up this book, you will see that there is a poem, and then they're asked to answer some questions about that, doing some math skills with reading a pictograph. And then here they are told to be the editor. So they are to rewrite the sentence, correcting the, maybe it's the punctuation, maybe it's the capitalization, maybe it's a spelling. But it tells them that there are 14 corrections they need to look for. Again, this book, grade 4 to 5, gives them a certificate of completion at the end as well as the answer keys in the back. The 5th to 6th grade book, very similar. 2 pages, space for parent initials, space for reading, 15 minutes for each star, up to 1 hour. As you go through, you'll see that they are, in this case, they are to read the story, and then they are to underline all the sentences that do not apply to the topic. Here they are doing math problems, dividing fractions and reducing to the lowest term. So here they're doing math problems with angles. And then here is a little writing section for them to follow the prompt. Further along in the book, this would be week 7. There is a journal that they are to read and answer questions. They are to do math computations here with decimals. And then here they are to underline the correct verb in the sentence. Further along, week 8, using some dictionary skills, math skills, prime numbers, suffixes, and then computing hours to days, days to weeks, decades to years, years to millennia, things like that. And then finally, as you're almost completed with the book, week 10, day 4, again, a story that they're to read, answer some questions, some division using numbers that involve decimals, and then some adjective and adverb work. And this book also comes with a certificate of completion as well as the answer key in the back. All right, the final one I want to show you is this one back here, and it's for students transitioning from grades 6 to 7. The format on this book, as you'll see, is a bit different. So this theme is called Egyptian Excursion. And inside you'll see right off the bat, this book is designed a little bit different than the others that I've shown you. Here your student is shown how many points are possible for each day. And then it's asking them to fill in the chart for reading for up to 30-minute increments. And then a spot down here if they've read more than what is given here, the 90-minute allowance. If they've read more than that, they're to put it down here. So right off the bat, the beginning page for that week is a little bit different than the ones that I've shown you previously. But then as you go through the book, you'll see, for the most part, they are still a 2-page per day lesson or review. And here in this one, they are doing, write all of the numbers that each number is divisible by. Here they are determining whether it is a declarative, interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory statement. Using a thesaurus and using a word with a definition to answer some questions. In each section, it tells them how many points are available in that section. So for instance, this math section, there are up to 30 points. There are only 10 problems, but up to 30 points. This book also does reading comprehension. Story is a little bit longer, and then there's questions for them to answer about that story. Here is week 5, day 5. They are doing rounding of decimals to the nearest hundredth. They are working on underlining the correct verb and filling in the circle next to the sentence with the correct homophone. Over here, they are working on definitions within the context of a sentence. And then here they are to identify the sentence that is written correctly. So looking for things like subject-verb agreement, proper use of commas, etc. Here's just another example of those progress pages at the beginning of each week. This is a progress page for week 7. So the total points here, they're asked to chart them a little bit differently. So again, working on some graphing skills. And then daily independent reading. At this point, they're simply asked to write how many minutes each day they've read. Week 8, they're nearing the completion of the book. They are working here on some math facts like part of 100 and then translating that into percent, ratio, common fraction, and decimal fraction. Identifying parts of speech. Finding mistakes in this limerick. And then writing equations for word problems and solving. One final example I will show you here is week 9. This might seem simple, but math facts are very important. So they're addressing that. As well as antonyms, and again, some more story problems. And then finally, the certificate of completion looks a little bit different in this book, but it is there for you to fill in your student name. Answer key is in the back of this book as well. So depending on how you'd like to use this, you may or may not want to hand it to your student. If you have further questions, feel free to reach out to your local Homeworks by Precept consultant. And thanks for joining me today.